So we've been singing a song about pi all week at camp, and we sing 3.14159, but a lot of people don't know what that means, and that's what we're going to talk about in this lesson. So get all of your stuff prepared and let's get started. We are going to be using these tubes and all of these craft supplies to make a really cool looking bracelet. The first thing is we're going to be talking about circumference. That's the distance around a circle. So if you put your fingers around your tubes, you can feel the circumference. This is the part that goes around your tube. Now, we're also going to be talking about the diameter. That's the part that goes across your tube. And we're going to be talking about the circumference and the diameter. So to start with, let's take a look at the circumference and diameter of your tube. So get your wiki stick, and you're just going to wrap your wiki stick around your tube. Mine is almost the perfect size. It just needs a tiny little trim. So you see how that's the circumference? I'm going to trim off this tiny little bit. Yours might have a tiny little bit to trim too. And now I know that this wiki stick, when I take it off, will be the exact circumference of my tube. But we want to know about pi. We're going to talk about what does that mean exactly. What is 3.14159? So to show you what that is, now we know our circumference. Now we're going to figure out our diameter. The first thing I want you to do is lay your wiki stick across your tube and trim. Now we have one diameter. Keep going until there's no more full cuts. So now we have 2 diameters. We're going to do one more and trim it off on the end. And now we have 3 diameters and just a little bit more left over. What this is showing you is that the circumference of this tube is 3 diameters and a little bit more. And that's what pi is. Pi is 1, 2, 3, and 0.14, so 3.14. The 14 is just this little tiny bit, and that's that decimal part of pi. We can put it back, and you'll see that it fits around in the circumference again. So you have just proved that pi is 3 and just a little bit more, 3.14. Once you've done the pi experiment and you have proved pi, you'll get to start on your bracelet. The first thing you'll want to do is slice your bracelet up the middle so that it can go on your wrist. Now this is a very big bracelet, so we're going to also cut it in half so that you can make one for each wrist. So just cut that in half so that you have 2. Now, we are going to make pi-themed bracelets. And the way that we're going to do this is choose supplies that represent 3.14159. You might decide for your bracelet that you'll use 3 different pieces of paper. That's the 3.1. Maybe you'll use 1 feather and 4 pieces of tissue and 1 piece of ribbon and 5 of these gems and 9 stickers, if that's what you want to do. So you're going to decide with your supplies, how are you going to make this represent pi? 3.14159. So let's get started. The easiest way to get started is to wrap your tube in paper, and I'll show you how to do that. First, you want to know how big your paper will need to be, and you can open up and see that about half of this paper will work. I'm not going to use exact measurements for this. I'm just going to eyeball it. And remember, I'm going to use 3 pieces of paper, so I'm going to have to decide where each piece will go. Do some glue, and I'm going to lay it down and wrap it. And fold it over again, and then I want this to fold over as well, so I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the paper. Just make sure it all folds down. So there's one of my 3 papers, And now I get to think about how I want to add the other 2 pieces of paper on. I'm going to have a very, very funky bracelet. I think I'll just use a little bit of this flower paper. And I'm going to wrap it around. And you don't have to have a plan. If you don't want to, you can just work and decide what you're going to do as you go, or you can plan it all out ahead of time. It depends on how you like to do your artwork. I am more of a let's see what happens person. Okay. So I did that, and then let's do another piece of paper. So now I have 3.14, 159. Now I'll add this piece, just the same way I did the other one. All right, so now I have my 3 pieces of paper, and I think I said I was gonna use 1 feather on my bracelet. For my 4, I was gonna use 4 pieces of tissue, 1 pink ribbon, 5 gems, and then I get to figure out a way to put on 9 stickers. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be such a fancy bracelet. 3.14159. Here we go, I like it. I'm gonna figure out how to get this feather here. I can definitely glue it, but I actually think I'm gonna use a little sticker. Put my little sticker on my feather. Yep, that worked perfectly. I'm gonna figure out where to put my tissue. I need 4 different little pieces of tissue. I'm gonna put those down here on the edges. So I've got 3 pieces of paper, 1 ribbon, 4 pieces of tissue, 1 feather, and now I need the 5 and the 9. So I've already got 1 of the hearts. I've got to get the rest of them on. And my gems, of course. And there's number 8. And 1 more will make 9. Just like that. There we go. I have my beautiful pi bracelet. It'll always remind me that pi is 3.14159.